Rocksteady's Arkham Asylum set a new standard for third-person action games, presenting fluid gameplay and a combat system that has been imitated since. Its sequel, Arkham City, succeeded where so many fail. It was bigger, had a larger scale story, and refined the combat that made its predecessor such a success. This summer, the final installment of the Arkham trilogy hit the shelves, and finally, players are freed up on Gotham City as a whole, and they have a whole new set of wheels to do it in. Join me as I take a look at the game. Does it reach its promise? Can players truly be the Batman, as the pre-release media suggested? Let's find out. The game manages to truly make the Scarecrow a terrifying threat. A terrifying threat with a vendetta against a certain Caped Crusader. The game begins with a threat to fear-gas the entire city, which leads to the civilians being evacuated. There are no civilians around. Again. I really dislike this. I want to play a vigilante who helps people, stopping muggers and other random crimes, not one who has free rein to beat up on literally every person still in the city. This is a bit of a misstep in my opinion. Having said that, the story which follows is excellent, following on from Arkham City's conclusion while managing to give enough background for those who haven't played the games. I won't go into actual plot details here, but suffice it to say that the story feels urgent enough to drag the player through it. Be prepared for some dark moments. This is by no means a light game. The eponymous Arkham Knight appears as an ally of the Scarecrow, and it is primarily this character Batman faces for the most part, outside of side missions. The Knight knows Batman's secrets and knows how he fights. This makes things a little more interesting for the Dark Knight. Arkham Knight takes the previous gameplay and refines it nicely. There are new moves added to the free-flow combat and stealth combat repertoires, which add nicely to the general beating down of thugs encountered. Batman can now even join forces with certain characters as the story progresses. While the ability to switch between characters and perform dual takedowns is rather fun, their limited, one room at a time nature makes them a poor substitute for cooperative play. As ever, Gotham's rogues are up to their usual mischief, and each side mission is a fun diversion for Batman to undertake on this long Halloween night. Penguin, Man-Bat, Firefly, Deathstroke and more make appearances here. As usual, the Riddler is perhaps the most annoying, filling the city not only with collectibles, but also making Batman take part in time challenge races in the game's much hyped Batmobile. Despite the fact that I'm never a fan of the Bat-Tank approach to the vehicle, I have to admit that the Batmobile does look awesome. Each rivet and mechanism seems to move on its own, showing the love and attention spent on its construction by the team at Rocksteady. Unfortunately, that's where the positives end. The true shame is that there is really no need for Batman to use the Batmobile as a method of transport, as Gotham just isn't that big. It takes but a few minutes to glide across the city. On top of this, the control system just isn't intuitive. Inexplicably, while the right trigger is accelerate, X is the brake rather than the left trigger, as in just about any other driving game. This means I spent rather a lot of time slipping into battle mode and crashing into a wall rather than drifting round corners. Speaking of battle mode, Batman uses the Batmobile, indeed the game becomes overly reliant on this towards the end stages, to destroy hundreds of unmanned drones in what I can only describe as a game of dodge the lines. The final atrocity comes late in the game, and it seems the developers are aware of this disaster. In a scene reminiscent of Arkham Origins' Bane fight, Batman finds himself in the Batmobile being chased down by an excavator. Batman must lure the thing into 3 consecutive tunnels to destroy it. The game saves after each success, and I can only assume this is because the Batmobile controls so badly that no one could actually succeed this stage in one go, not even the Batman. It truly is a shame that the Batmobile was so badly included in the game. This, combined with the empty streets of Gotham, are more than enough to stop this from being a Game of the Year contender for me. The game is not bad, don't let these negatives hold you back. If there was rather less of the forced Batmobile sections, then it would be a superb game. As it is, the refinements to the superb gameplay expected from these games make it a thoroughly enjoyable affair with a suitably dark and engrossing story. Did I feel I could be the Batman while playing? Not always, but sometimes, so we'll call that a win. Now, Mr. Rocksteady, if we could just have an Arrow and Flash game that includes a cooperative campaign?
I'm just glad you made it out okay. Sorry, I've got to go. Stay safe, Barbara. You still know how to make an entrance.
How's the evacuation going?
Last bus crossed the city limits an hour ago. I'm just glad my little girl got out when she did. Now the real work begins.